When someone asks, are you enlightened? It's like asking someone, are you smart? Are you beautiful? Are you a good person? You know? Whatever you answer may not be appropriate. Let's say you are smart, an intelligent person. Someone asks you, are you intelligent? If you say yes, it reduces from your intelligence somehow. And I've thought a lot about this, and what I came to find out is that all positive descriptions are selfless, meaning they're not really attached to what we call the ego. So when we say I am enlightened, I am smart, I am, all these good things, now you make them about the self. They're not selfless anymore, and that's why it becomes ugly. When someone, even if they are smart, say, "Oh, I'm really smart," it kind of reduces from their intelligence or their grace, let's say. And we often describe these things as, oh, it's arrogance. It's not really about arrogance. They can be completely honest and say, yes, I am this, but what's not understood is that those things are selfless. We become those things when it is not the I that is those things. Those things are selfless. That's what I mean by those things are selfless. They are not attached to the I. Only when you are not attached to the I can those things become a quality in your life. Whether it's beauty, whether it's lovingness, whether it's consciousness, intelligence, all these things. They become a quality that you carry around with you when they are not an ego thing, when they are not a self thing. They are selfless. It's like a fragrance that comes out of you. You cannot say, I am that fragrance. No, you are giving off that fragrance. But if you say, I am that fragrance, all of a sudden that fragrance is no longer a fragrance. You've given it a shape. You've given it a self. You've given it a limitation. And its only greatness was in its unlimitedness. Or, yeah, unlimitedness. Can we say that? Let's hope we can. So, for example, those negative descriptions, if we say, I am bad, I am ugly, I am not good, it sounds appropriate. Not because we want to be those things, but because those things always belong to the personality that we are, not to the consciousness that we are. It belongs to the lower self that we are, not to the higher self. The higher self is a transition from self to selflessness. It's not really a self state. That's what's being really misunderstood in the spiritual, modern, new age world. It's being confused or misunderstood as, oh, you have a higher self. But when you say you have a higher self, all you're doing is making the self bigger, meaning the ego bigger. And that is why a lot of these so-called spiritual people, new age, and I'm sure you've met a lot of them, they have the biggest ego. They never like to see if they're wrong. They never like to admit that they're wrong, even if they see it. They are very defensive. They're always wearing a mask. And if you wear a mask, you'll always be afraid because you are hiding behind the mask, wishing that no one sees your true face, trying to hold the mask very tightly against your face. But when you remove the mask, there's no fear. You just show who you are. Some will like you, some will not, but that's not the point. It's just who you are. And when someone knows the beauty of being who you are, they will see the beauty in that. And By saying who you are, I'm talking about you without the mask, not you with the mask. You with the mask is not considered you. It's considered a mask. It's considered your false identity that a lot of people carry around. They've been given that false identity since birth, since childhood, and they've been carrying it out around all their lives and protecting it. But when you drop that, it can be hard on the ego, of course. I'm not saying it's easy, but when you drop that, then all is left is you, and the real you, the selfless you, is the same nature as everything in existence. It's the same nature as the trees, as the animals, as the nature around you. Everyone has that nature within them. But you see now everything is being a distortion. If you've seen my other video about distorting reality, they distort everything, even the things which were meant to be constructive. When they're distorted, they become destructive. So even this, see, New Age, spirituality, all these things of yoga, why a lot of people don't like it, why a lot of people despise it, is because they are only seeing the New Age version of that, which is, again, a distortion. It is not the thing. It seems like we are not allowed to have anything which is the thing nowadays. Everything is a distortion. Oh, you want love? Here's what love is. It's lust. It's toxicity. Whatever. Oh, you want you want food? Okay, here's all the tasty food that you can eat, but it's gonna get you sick because it's not natural. So you want, what I mean? So everything, they are distorting everything. Everything is being distorted, and it's not an accident. Like if you look, if you have just a minimum of awareness, you can see it's not done on purpose, because nothing. First of all, nothing is done to rectify that. It's just kept that way. And you can see that a lot of people are just brainwashed by it because it's so effective. People are just seeing things on the first degree, on the first level. But there are layers of that. And the truth is often hidden beneath the layers. But people are being trained, even unconsciously, to accept reality as the first layer. So when they see someone looking like me, oh, he's this, he's that, you know what I mean? Or if someone is, what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of, how long their hair is, how long their beard is, all these things. They have conclusions about everything. They're not open to life. They're not open to just connecting with life, connecting with nature, with reality, with existence. Because if they did, they would not be conducting themselves or functioning as the self. At least not as the ego self. They're going to become the selfless self, for lack of a better term. So that's what it is. And so because of this, you cannot really say, oh, if someone asks you, are you beautiful? And even if you are beautiful, when you say, yes, I am beautiful, in today's world, we are encouraged to say yes, to always glorify what is great about us by saying it, by affirming it to others. And all that does is make people arrogant, make people self-obsessed, and make people less of that quality which they claim to be. Because they don't understand that that quality exists only when they are not claiming it. It is not something you should claim. It is not something you can claim. It is just like, like I said earlier, it's just like the fragrance. If you are clean, you will give off a fragrance. You cannot try to create that fragrance or be that fragrance. You have to be something else in order for that fragrance to come out. That fragrance is what we call beauty, intelligence, enlightenment, loving kindness, all these things. We can't really describe ourselves as that. And the more we do, The more we do, the more we are pushed away from that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think that no, everyone is saying no, it's all about you. You are great, you are beautiful, you are this, you are that. And this is where this narcissistic society comes from. This narcissistic behavior and narcissistic mentality comes from. Yes, I'm this, beautiful, I'm sexy, I'm this. Even if you are those things, you don't have to say it. And also, the people who fall for these things the most are people who have low self-esteem. So it's attractive to people who have low self-esteem to be told that you are those things, and you have to say it, and you have to affirm it. It's very attractive, and they don't target anyone. Those are the people they target the most, because those are the easier prey to this kind of thing. And I don't think anyone is talking about this. I don't think anyone's talking about these aspects. These things just come to me, or they just come. I don't know where they come from, but they just come especially when I'm half asleep, half awake. These things just start pouring into my consciousness, into my mind. I don't know where they come from, but I just stay open to them, and as soon as they come, I try to write them down, because I don't usually write stuff down, but I tried that when I don't write these things down, a lot of the time they just disappeared, like they've never even crossed my psyche, my mind, my awareness. They just seem to go as if they never existed before. So now I'm being more careful in writing those things down, and then talking about them. Yeah. So yeah, you see, it's all about selflessness. It's all about, the ultimate selflessness is what we call death. So there has to be a self, somewhat, but very softened self, So it's okay to have desires, it's okay to have hunger, it's okay to have, some kind of need or want, or it's fine. A lot of people on the spiritual path feel ashamed when they feel like they have some sexual desire or something. Like that's just that's just a sign of good health, Should not be ashamed of that. Any creature has that. That's not what makes you, that's not what's gonna reduce your spirituality. No, on the contrary. And this is another thing they're trying to do. They're trying to not shame, but yeah, dismiss people on the spiritual path as, oh, you're just that. And then they become that because of all the reasons we said before. It becomes an ego thing. It becomes a arrogance thing. It becomes a, narcissistic thing. So all of it just gets mixed up. So now what we're trying to do in these videos that I make for you guys is we're trying to undo the knots that this system, new age, whatever you want to call it, is doing to life and to the different aspects of life, which are meant to be natural, which are meant to be, just themselves as they are, pure and natural and just undistorted, kept in their original form. Because anything you distort, it becomes something else. You can take the nicest things about life and you can distort them and they become something else. So it's as if it's like the same technique that people on the spiritual path do. They take something negative and they turn it into a positive. These other people tend to do the opposite, taking something positive and turning it into a negative, while making you believe that it's still a positive. And that's not very good. So keep these things in mind. Selflessness is never about me. I am this, I am that. No, it is detached. It is something else.